So thank you for joining our webinar today on GIS for small business. This webinar will roughly last 4 to 5 minutes, and your hosts today are Sean Cleary, who is Team Lead and Software Development Manager within Azimap, and myself, and I'm Nicola Hyman, and I'm Marketing Manager for Azimap. Okay, so just some housekeeping. We would encourage you to tweet throughout the webinar and to use the hashtag GISWire and to mention @AzimapSoft in your post. We also welcome questions, and you can submit these questions using the window in your webinar box, and we will address these at the end of the webinar. If you do have to leave the meeting, that's okay, we won't be offended. We will send you a copy of the recording and you can watch it again in your own time. And if you do have a question following the webinar, there are numerous ways that you can contact us. You can email us at inquiries@azimap.com. You can visit our website at azimap.com, and there's a contact form there within that. And you can also contact us via social media on any of our channels, and we will get back to you. Okay, so the main objectives of this afternoon's webinar is to showcase how GIS can be used to help businesses make informed decisions based on customer information. To help with this, we will demonstrate the following GI tasks as geographic information tasks using Azimap software, which is our product here. During this webinar, we will demonstrate the digitising capabilities suitable for businesses. We will showcase how to import spatial files. For the purpose of this webinar, we will demonstrate how to import CSV and shapefiles. However, it is important to highlight that all major spatial files can be imported into Azimap, for example, raster, KML, and tab files. We will also demonstrate how to draw and edit points, lines, and polygons. We will showcase the advanced spatial analysis tools, demonstrate how to use the map styler to create context for your information, and we will show you how to share and embed maps. And finally, after all that, we will demonstrate how to create print-ready copies of your maps if you need to share these within your team. So first of all, what is Azimap? Well, Azimap is a cloud geographic information system. It provides customers with the tools to easily create, analyse, and publish spatially enabled information. It has been developed on open source principles, and as previously mentioned, supports all major formats and more than 6,000 localized and global projections. It is suitable for both the Power GI and non-technical users, so for us marketers out there who have never used GIS before, this tool is ideal for you. And it is available as an enterprise or SaaS-based installation. So what are the benefits for small businesses, or any business for that matter? So during this webinar, we will demonstrate how businesses are using Azimap and GIS to create and share maps without the need for coding or extensive previous GIS experience. How small businesses and businesses are working collaboratively to analyse information, how marketing teams are identifying trends and patterns and customers' information that may not have been identifiable without the use of GIS, and how organisations are creating a centralised repository for their customers' information. So what you may find within your own organisation and many others, that they may have many spreadsheets containing customer information, and what we allow you to do is create a centralised repository for all that data. In addition, we will also show you how to improve supply chain and resource management using the routing tools, and finally, how to produce thematic maps. So now I'm actually going to hand you over to Sean Cleary, and he is going to carry out the demonstration of Azimap and highlight the benefits for businesses.
Thank you, Nicola. Just switch screens here. So Azimap can be found at azimap.com, and you'll get some additional information on what the product is here, and what some sample maps on there as well, and some more detail on the benefits of the use of Azimap. You can sign up for a free 30-day trial For existing customers, simply sign in, which brings into the application itself. So Azimap is available as a software as a service, so you can subscribe for a small monthly fee, or it's also available as an on-site enterprise installation, or we can host a private cloud for you. Okay, so just sign in here. So on sign in, you are taken to this landing page, which will give you at the top of the screen all of your most recent maps, or 4 of your most recent maps, and you can scroll through them here to see everything you've done recently. And scrolling down the page, you will be able to see sort of sample maps that other Azimap users have created and made public. So you can just have a look at those to see how people are using Azimap and what potential other potential use cases. So for the purpose of this demonstration here, we want to sort of demonstrate how a small business could use Azimap to potentially drive their business forward. And with that in mind, we're going to put together sort of a little use case of a business trying to identify the addresses of some potential customers and use those addresses for some marketing activities, such as mail shots or door-to-door leaflet drops or something along those lines. To that end, we want to. So we've got some sample data. As part of this demonstration, we'll show how we import existing data. So for that purposes, we have already got this little importer tool, and I'm going to pull in here a CSV of pointer information, so basically address data. It's a little sample CSV file. It's a very small subset, but it gives us the ability to show the process. So it's simply drag and drop. I can pull my CSV across, and I want to set a projection. That's what appears in the right place. I know the projection for this data is an Irish grid. We support roughly 6,500 projection systems, localized and global projections all included in there. So we should be able to handle most data sets, or most existing data sets, or provide you the ability to create new data in whatever projection you choose. So as part of the configuration here, I'll just leave these default values for more advanced configuration settings, but we need to inform the application what type of geometries are in that CSV we're just importing. So these are points only. So we'll close that. We can configure this to send a notification to your account when your import has completed. So if you've got a really large import that's taken a long time, you can kick off that process, and you'll get an email when it has finished. In the meantime, you can go off and perform other activities within Azimap. But it means it doesn't hold you back if you're importing large data sets. So I'll just save this. Just a little information window to say it will appear in your list when the import is complete. And if I reorder, we'll see here it's importing the data. So I could go off now and do something different, but I just want to work with this particular one. And if I refresh the page, it's now headed to green saying that it's successfully been imported. So now that I've got that data I want to display on a map, I can simply click on that data set, and I'll create a map called Demo Pointer Map. I click yes. That goes off and automatically creates you a map, and it has plotted all of the address locations that were in that CSV file. If we take a look at this little tool here, it actually gives the details on those addresses. It's just a pretty standard address data set based on a small town in Northern Ireland here. So from that end now we have imported a data set. I want to create a new data set of my own where I can digitize something, because I want to plot on this map where my business is at. So I can create an entirely new layer. Again, it's the same process as importing, or the same wizard as we used to import the data, but we should choose the new layer option instead. We'll click next, and I'll give my layer a name. So let's just call it My Business. And you can give it a description of what this layer is as well. But for consistency's sake, we'll keep the projection the same as the address data set, but there's no reason why we can't put data sets on here or layers on here of different projections. We'll handle that, the process of reprojecting on the fly for you. I'm going to make this a polygon layer. Just forgot to save that. We'll make this a polygon layer, and because I want to draw on my building on the map. I click save. So what this does in the background is go off and create a new database table in our system, so that you can record and capture data onto this layer. And you see it's defaulted with two attributes for this, for any geometries in this layer: a geometry column to store all your coordinates, and a unique identifier column. And we've got the option here of adding in additional attributes, so you can define custom layers within Azimap to capture whichever data you like to capture. I'll just leave it as the default. So when I close that window, you'll see my map gets updated to have a second layer on there. Now I'm going to plot. We have a cinema just down the road here. I know this location here. It's actually a cinema. So what I'm going to do is outline this building that my mouse is hovering over, so that I can refer back to that as my business. So these are digitising tools. So this is a polygon layer, so we've got activated the polygon digitising tools. If I switch back to the address layer, which is points only, you'll see we've got a different set of tools up here for digitising points. So the application takes a little bit of the work out of it for you. I want to draw a polygon, activate the tool, and I'm going to very roughly plot around this building so that you see that, so that you can see what the process is. Again, just doing this very quickly for the purposes of the demo. You want to probably pay a little bit more attention to detail there if you want accurate digitising, but for the purposes of the demo, this is fine. And then if I switch my select tool on, I can select that feature and you'll see that I've got, because of the first feature in this layer, I've got a unique identifier of 1. And if I click this little I button here, it'll give me some additional information. And we can see that the area of that polygon is that, and the perimeter of it is that. If I have additional attributes for this layer, it will appear in here as well. And if I've configured the layer to be editable, I'll be able to change those attributes or insert new attribute values. So looking at this, we just have a polygon which doesn't really stand out very well in this background map. So I want to style this polygon to stand out a little bit, so I've got a bit more, makes it more noticeable. So if I click the little icon beside the layer select, the layer in our layer select tool here, it'll pop open our styling tool. Excuse me. I'm going to create a new style for this layer, and I just call it my business style. Really simple. Click create. So you see there's no rules in here defining how to render polygons in this layer. So I'm going to add a polygon styling rule, and I'll give it a name. Because I know this is a cinema, I'm going to call it a cinema. And we've got 2 fill types for these polygons. So kind of a hatching fill or just a normal coloured fill. I'll leave it as normal for now. And I'm going to choose a colour. I will choose green. So it really stands out. And we'll set some opacity on there so that so we can see behind it. And I click OK. You see it's defined a little green polygon. And if I click save, it'll apply those updates to the map. We'll write the pre-existing style. We'll see now our cinema is green. So that's just a little simple style to let me identify my own data. And now what we have on the map is my business, the green polygons, my cinema, and a set of addresses highlighted by these points in the top section of the map here. So as part of what I want to do as a small business here is identify some local addresses that I want to target. And a particular use case may be I want to target potential customers who are within a certain driving time of my business, so I know they're more likely to attend. So we have a little tool here called routing and drive times, and the second one here is drive time analysis. And basically what this is, it'll highlight on the map a region which can be driven to within a given amount of time in minutes. So I start off spending a 1 minute time, and I select this little tool here, so it lets me identify where I want to start driving from. I'm going to choose my cinema. If I click there, see it's generated a little polygon. 1 minute's not really going to capture any of these customers up here, so I'm going to expand out that a little bit and make this 3 minutes. And repeat the process. You see now it's got all of my customers in. Again, that's too many, so for the purpose of demonstration, we'll change this to 2. Yeah, that's better. So you'll see this intersects some of the addresses, but not all of the addresses. And as a business owner, what I want to do is target all of these customers that exist within that zone that I've identified. So to be able to do that, I want to plot this polygon on a map of it, on a layer of zone, so that we can identify it or analyze it against these set of addresses. So I'm going to add a new layer, which I will call my customer zone. And again, I'll set the projection, so there's a polygon there, and I'll set the projection to be 2900 again, to keep it consistent. Click Save. Probably should have done this before I did my drive time, but I'm going to repeat that very quickly. So I close this down, and you'll see now I have a customer zone layer on here. So let's run a little drive time again. Because drive time is on the fly, it's not saved anywhere. You have to regenerate every time on a map load. So there's my polygon again. So now what I'll do is take this zone and place it in here, so I have a permanent record of the customer zone that I'm targeting for these purposes. This little tool up here lets me clone that highlighted area in the map. So I can only place it onto a polygon there, so I need to highlight this layer. I clone my feature, and you see a little tool here called Paste Feature. This will now create that polygon on my customer zone map. And if I switch everything else off, you'll see I have a big polygon here, which is my customer zone, very clearly. But I want to make that a little bit more obvious as well as by looking at the map, so I'm going to create a style for that zone also. I have my styler again. I create a new style and I call it customer zone. And I will add another polygon style and call it customers. This time I'm going to use a hatching fill just to show a different type of fill for these polygons. And I will choose of any of these options, I'll choose a slash. And I'll highlight blue. Okay, I'll set some opacity on here as well, just so it doesn't block out everything underneath. And I'll OK that and save it. Alright, let me see now. So now I've got a map with my business. Here is a green polygon, my cinema. I've got a large polygon identifying a zone that I want to target customers within, which is a 3-minute drive time from my business. And we'll see at the top we have a number of customers that reside within that zone that I want to target. So it would be useful to me now as a business owner if I could get this list of addresses only that exist within that zone. And we provide the ability to be able to pull that data out by performing some spatial analysis. So I want to retrieve here a list of addresses, so I'll choose my pointers layer, and I'm going to perform an intersect query against the data. So I want everything, all the addresses in my pointers address data layer, which intersect by choosing this tool, a selected feature. So I'm going to select this big polygon, which is, switch my selector on, which is my zone. And I click Generate Script, And you'll see what this does is dynamically create the SQL query, which will perform the spatial query against the database. For GIS professionals, you have the ability to go in here and edit this word. I could add further clauses on here. For example, if I knew what I was doing, it's a read-only window, so your data is still safe. There's no way to enter any updates or insert statements here, so allowing your end user to edit this query window will have no adverse effects on your data. So I'm going to click Execute Filter now, and what you'll see on the map is that the list of addresses has now been reduced to only show me addresses which are intersecting my customer zone. And if I click the View Data button, it'll list that data in a tabular format. And you'll see a little message down here that says, showing 1 to 5, 183 entries, filtered from a total of 350 entries. So there's 350 entries in that layer, and there are 183 that exist in my customer zone. So now I've got the data that I want, the addresses that I want to target in my sales and marketing efforts, and I want to save that off in a spreadsheet. So I've got a little download button here, and I'll give that a name. My customers. Click Export. Basically, it comes down as a spatial CSV or a CSV file with the addresses on it. So extract all, and open. Oh, we already have something open. Close this first. Save. Let's run that again. So we'll see now, as a business, I now have a list of addresses which I want to target for my marketing purposes. So that's just a very simple use case of how you can use Azimap to both visually identify on a map where your customers may be, or indeed where your existing customers are. We have some clients who have performed customer surveys and plotted the addresses of all their existing customers and have been able to identify, for example, that yeah, look, I've got a lot of customers in this part of the city, but I don't have any customers in this part of the city, so I need to go off and concentrate some sales and marketing exercises there, and it helps them be more intelligent about what type of business activity they make moving forward to help drive their business on. Just to show another potential use case, one of our clients is a local authority in the Republic of Ireland, and they use Azimap to both digitise and publish details of their local area development plans. So I have a sample data set from them as well, which I can show here. And this time it's not a CSV, it's a shapefile. And I just want to show the process of importing shapefiles, CSVs, tab files. Whichever your data file is exactly the same. So I'll choose my shapefile and drag it on. Again, I want to configure that shapefile for any details. I know this data is in Irish grid projection also. Let's save that. You see the process is very simple, and once you know how to do it once, you can do it again very easily. So Kilcock is the name of a town in the Republic of Ireland, and I want to show that on the map. And we'll call it Kilcock Local Area Plan. Yep. And there we have it. That's a local area plan for a town called Kilcock in the Republic of Ireland. But to look at this, it's not very meaningful. It's just a set of polygons on the map. So we want to create a theme for this data set, so it's really obvious at first glance what all the different zones of development are. So I'm going to create a new style in here. We'll just call it LAP, Local Area Plan 1. I'm going to call Create. And this previously we created a polygon style. This time I'm going to create a polygon thematic style. The difference being I can apply a theme to a particular attribute in the data set. So this particular column here, zone GZT, actually is a category of zone, development zone for its local area plans. And I'm going to choose a colour gradient, can be any of these, and choose this one. I'll stick some opacity on there, and if I go into this little data range tab up here, it'll show me how the system has broken down the data on this layer and how it'll categorise it as far as colours go. So each of these values, C21, C5, C7, these are all categories of planning. So the application has often identified all the unique values and assigned a unique colour to those values. And I will save, continue, and there's my legend. I save again, and you should see this become a more meaningful looking map now. So now from the end user's point of view, we can obviously see that there are different zones of development here, and it's just a way of visually understanding your data better by styling it up based on some of the information held within your data. Again, as a user, I could log in here, and or as a public user who doesn't know the data, it may not be very meaningful just to see lots of different coloured polygons. So what I'm going to do is configure a little bit more information here. Obviously I can select one of these. If I switch on my select tool, I can select one of these polygons and it'll show me all the information behind it. But that puts the onus back on the user to perform a select. We can configure a hover tool. So if I click this little tool here, we have a hover option here in this menu. And I'm going to switch on this zone description column in this configuration tool. What this is going to do is inform the application that when a mouse hovers over a feature on this particular layer, it'll pop up this attribute value in almost like a tooltip. So I click OK and I click Save. And refresh the map, and now you see when I my mouse over one of these, it'll pop up that information. And now it becomes a map that's a little bit more useful just by configuration, with no coding required and no difficulty at all, really. Again, we may want to add some more identifying features on here. So what I can do is add a text value. So I want to put a label on each of these polygons, which will say zone. Let's say I'll call it zone type. And I want to I'll choose the category again. And I want to make my text, I say blue. Okay. Save. Yes. And what you should see is the categories of each of these zones appearing. So again, more identifying information that makes the map more useful to back office staff, both within local authority, knowing what each of these zones are, and to the general public if they want to publish this data back out again. So I think this would be a good opportunity as well to show some of the more advanced digitising features of our web GIS. So you'll see here we have a number of editing tools along the top. So I'll begin by selecting an existing polygon. And if I activate this tool, that will let me edit that existing one by vertex. Again, it's not anything that a GIS user won't know how to do, but I just want to demonstrate the ease with which it is. Azimap lets you edit any of these polygons. I can move an entire polygon should I so wish. Grab it, as it moved. I can rotate it. Again, all fairly standard functionality, but it's really easy to do on the software itself. These tools are a little bit more advanced. I can split a feature, just a little warning message saying once it's done, it's done. And I'm going to cut this feature in half or in two parts, and I now have two features. I may also want to create what we call a donut, which is, just select one first, which is in essence creating like an exclusion zone within a polygon. And this process is really simple. I think in comparison to some of the other GISs out there, and we now have a polygon with an exclusion zone in there in the middle. And finally, almost finally, we have the ability to merge multiple features as well. So if I hold down my control key, I can select multiple features, and I want to merge those features together. A little warning, can't be undone. And now those two polygons have become one. So it's just really easy, intuitive digitizing tools on the map, which is part of how we've designed the application. We wanted to leave it so that small businesses, as well as non-GIS users, as well as GIS professionals, are able to use it. And for the GIS guys out there, we have the ability to snap to plugged in as well, which let's see here, if I pull it close, the snapping tool activates. So it's standard. And yeah, this is what I mentioned earlier. If we're drawing or editing some genres in the map, you have the ability to enter some data in there. I'm not going to enter anything, I'll just click save. Because I have no category assigned to that, there's got no fill value in there for my style. So that is an example of how one of our clients used the application for digitizing and visualizing their data. This type of data, there's a legal requirement for government bodies to make public, so they can both use Azimap as a back office tool to create and manage and analyze this data, and then also use it to publish the data back out through a web map, and that can be very easily done. So you see there's a little tool here called Share Your Map, and it gives you a number of options. So you can send someone this link, which will load the map. This particular link would be for other Azimap users, or I've got an embed link as an example. So that's a little iframe snippet, and you can embed that within your own web application. And just to give an example of how this particular functionality will be used, one of our clients is Kildare County Council in the Republic of Ireland, and they've developed this little planning search portal. So the map that you see here was created, I'm just going to refresh this in case it was timed out. The map that you see in this application was defined within Azimap, and the data imported to Azimap. And the map then embedded within this little search application. You can see there's two search options, because you can search by a planning number at the top here, and they've got a little more advanced search to the side where you can search specific fields for certain values. So let's say I search for a year, and we'll say 2015, click go. This lists all the planning applications for the year 2015, little tabular format, and you'll see it's paged across the bottom. And if they choose one of them, we have an API that sits along with Azimap, so when they choose an application there from the search tools, it sends a message to the map saying, I want to find this particular record, I want to zoom to it, I want to highlight it, I want to pop up the information about it so that my customer or my end user can see the information they want. And from a council point of view, this means that they have a public portal where it's possible to find information on current and legacy planning applications, and reduces the need for staff in the office to answer phone calls or letter requests for this information. So it's a really efficient way of getting the information out there, and they publish this, advertise this application on their own website. This is a little example of how Azimap can be used within your standard business processes and help you meet your own requirements. Internally ourselves, we use Azimap to plan our sales activities. We've created this map here to identify different sales regions for our sales team. So I'll just open this up. So this is an internal map. You see it's basically just styled in green and red zones. So we've got two sales teams. One sales team is applied to the green zone, and one sales team is applied to the red zone. And the information on there will let them sort of target what their business is, who they need to contact. So each team will know that particular councils are within their remit, and they can find those councils, get their contact details, and any other information that we have on that. So it helps with the sales process, and it helps from a marketing perspective in-house as well. And we use this application here for planning sales activities. Again, we've got a little part of the remit of this demonstration was to show how we can print these maps. So we can print individual features. So you see that when I have that little pop-up open, we've got a little printer here, and I can choose that and say I want to print this particular location and the associated information behind it. This will come back with a PDF view of, so you see, it's a really small screen we'll have here, so the resolution is pretty poor, but you see a little icon in there with the feature I just selected, and this is all the data behind that. So that's a single feature print. I'm going to cancel that. And what we can also do is just create a generic print of the map. And we can create customized print formats as well. So let's just move that to center screen. I've got a little print button here in the bottom right hand corner. I select print and give my map a title, Sales UK. And you can define the resolution you want your print to be in. I'll just pick a low resolution, and we can apply a legend to that print. Create PDF. And so you've downloaded a little PDF print here. So that's my map with a legend applied to it, detailing what all of the data on there is. Again, these the format of these prints are just sort of a standard format we've created ourselves. We can create custom print formats for clients also. Let's close that. And I think that is it as far as demonstration goes. I hope you found that useful, and I'll now pass you back to Nicola. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Thank you. I do hope you found that beneficial. However, as I said, if you do have any questions following the webinar, you can email us directly at inquiries@azimap.com or visit azimap.com. There on that page, on our website, there we have a contact us page with an inquiry form. And finally, you can reach us via social media, particularly via Twitter, by mentioning us as Azimapsoft, and we will get back to you in any one of those channels. So Sean alluded to there to a few of our customers. So on this slide here, we just wanted to highlight some of the customers that we have done work for. This includes some of the local authorities here in Ireland. So you've got Mid-Ulster Council, Kildare Council, and Meath and Louth County Councils. Also wanted to highlight that we are a What 3 Words partner, and that integrates directly with Azimap. So for those parts of the world that do not use postcodes, you can use a What 3 Words addressing system within Azimap. Again, it's a simple process. And then finally, just to highlight that we are on the digital marketplace within the G-Cloud9 framework, and that allows us to work directly with government bodies within the UK. So at the start of the webinar, I did welcome questions, and we did actually receive a few questions. So we'll just address these now, Sean, will we? Yep. So firstly, somebody's asked, what data do we provide?
We don't actually provide any data. We're software only. So if you have your own existing data, you can import in the system as demonstrated there, but we can also connect to existing databases. See, actually looking at the next question on the list here, someone has asked, can we integrate to existing databases? So you have 3 options for putting layers in the maps. You can create an entirely new layer that has no data in there for your own custom definition. You can import shape files, tab files, CSVs, KMLs, GeoTIFFs for that matter, and finally you can link to existing SQL Server and PostgreSQL databases. So if you are an organisation that is already storing your spatial data in one of those database formats, we can link directly to that and display that data on a map for analysis and editing, should you so wish.
Okay. Yep. Answered, yep. Happy enough of that. The second question, well, that's the third question now we're running on to, is somebody's asked, what type of support do we offer?
Well, for enterprise customers, we offer, I think it's 2 days on-site training up front. So if you to go on the enterprise package installed on-site, we come out and get it installed and set up for you and provide 2 days on-site training. For the online SaaS version, excuse me, we have an online support help desk. We're contactable through that. And there's also phone numbers and inquiry emails there as well. So there's a number of avenues for you to ask for support, and we'll do our best to help.
Probably one of the key things to mention is that we are approachable.
Yep.
So if you do have a question and you do need onboarding assistance, you can reach out to us and we will be willing to help you get started. And then the final question there is, can we consume data from external services?
Yeah, we can consume data from external WMS services, and those layers can be added as base layers or as data layers. So currently only for unsecured external WMS services, we do plan on implementing secure services too, but that's on our development plan. But currently, yeah, we can connect to external services, no problem.
Okay, that's great. So that seems to be us now for today's webinar. We do have another webinar next week. It's actually on next Wednesday at the same time at 2 p.m. and it's focused on the advanced functionality or the advanced capabilities of Azimap. So you're more than welcome to register for that by visiting azimap.com/GIS-day. So if you do have any other questions, you can reach out to us. As I said, you can send us an email at inquiries@azimap.com or visit our website, azimap.com, or reach out to us via Twitter at azimapsoft. So if you don't have any more questions, we will see you later.